Hello, fourth grade readers. Welcome back. My name is Mrs. Lamondo, and I'm here with you for today's Fontes and Pinnell mini lesson of the day. Today, we're actually going to combine two short mini lessons into one larger one. Last time we were together, we talked about how to give a book talk. So today, I'm going to kind of continue with that thought, but also teach you a little bit more. So let's get started. So every reader has personal reading interests and preferences. A preference is something you like more than something else. For example, I have a preference for realistic fiction books over fantasy books. Think to yourself, does anyone else have a preference? You might also have a preference for a certain author. Do you have a favorite author or a favorite series? Unfortunately, we're not in school, so we can't turn and talk to a partner about our preferences. But I can't wait to hear all about your preferences. As I mentioned, I have a preference for realistic fiction over fantasy. That doesn't mean I dislike fantasy books. That just means I'm more drawn to realistic fiction books. Today, I want to give a book talk about a book I really enjoyed reading, and that is called The Unteachables by Corman. Now, I also have a preference for Corman books. He has written so many amazing books that I love. This one is one that I really enjoyed. So The Unteachables follows a class in middle school in Connecticut, and it's Mr. Kermit's 8th grade class. Mr. Kermit is kind of burnt out. He's done with teaching. He doesn't really care what these kids do all day. And these kids are kids that everyone else has given up on. There's kids that work on farms and struggle to get to school. There's kids that are jocks and aren't even expected to be smart at all. And there's one girl, Kiana, who shouldn't be in the Unteachables class at all, but ended up there and now refuses to leave. This book follows the class as they try to come together as a community and reinvigorate Mr. Kermit's passion for teaching. This book made me laugh, this book made me cry, and it was a quick and fun and easy read. So this is one example of a book talk on a book about realistic fiction, which is a preference of mine. But let's keep talking. There are so many wonderful books that it can be hard to decide what to read next. One thing I like to do is keep a list of all the books I want to read. When I finish a book on my list, I cross it off and choose another one. Making sure that you have a list of books to read is part of a plan to help yourself grow as a reader. You might make a reading plan to read more often or stretch your reading interest. A reading plan has specific goals, such as how many books to read or exactly which books to read can help you carry out your plan. What goals do you have for yourself as a reader? A goal that I have for myself as a reader is to read different genres of books. Now, I have a book that I want to share with you that came highly recommended to me by other teachers. However, it's in that fantasy genre. And I'm like, I don't really like fantasy books all that well, but I decided to give it a go. And I'm so glad I did because it's one of my favorite series now. So I have here The Wild Robot and The Wild Robot Escapes. I'm going to give you a little book talk on The Wild Robot because I don't want to give away the ending by telling you about The Wild Robot Escapes. So The Wild Robot follows a robot named Roz who ends up on an island with only animals. The animals are very fearful of Roz, and she has to figure out how she can come to live on this island if she wants to stay and make herself happy. Now, again, as I mentioned, all the animals are fearful of a robot because they've never seen a robot before. So Roz must learn not how to be mechanical and act like a robot, but instead how to be wild. If you love animals, if you think teaching in a robot voice is funny, or reading in a robot voice rather, you will love this book. I read it every single year, and it is my favorite. So again, if you like fantasy books, or even if you don't, like I didn't really like them at first, please read The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. And I guarantee you'll want to continue the story with The Wild Robot Escapes, also by Peter Brown. So today, as you are reading, please make sure that you keep in mind your preference as you choose books. You should be reading at least 20 minutes. on Raz Kids, and then also filling out your reading response form. If you have any questions or difficulties with this, when it's time to go on Google Meet with your teacher, you can direct them to your teacher. All right, fourth grade readers, I will see you next time. Bye.